Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about 3% Season 2. This is Episode 4. It is called Napkin. Oh, sorry, it's Chapter 4. Napkin.
You disgrace.
I'm sorry. When they repeat the number again, because they want to put their own chapter heading, throws me off.
Yeah, still unacceptable though.
But anyway, so we were theorising, because the last episode ended with them all getting in the room together. I think I even said at one point, I can see the next episode being just all in that place with the ideological debate. Now, it wasn't quite the ideological debate, but it was all in that place. It was the interrogation of both Michelle and Raphael for the entire episode. That was what it was.
That was it. Yeah, just cutting back and forth between them and seeing the mirroring of how they were questioning each.
And it very much did feel kind of like one of the games again from last season that just lasted all episode. Instead of course, of like a physical game, it was the debating, the interrogation. It was lying. And on top of that, it even just mirrored Michelle's start. Because, way back in episode 1 last season, she had to convince that she wasn't part of the cause. That was a whole thing in episode 1. So here we are again. And she's doing it. And we get all this stuff with Ezekiel's in her ear. And he's talking to her. He's trying to help her. And then she goes off script. He gets pissed off. He's like, oh, and he does bring up that she didn't tell about Raphael. Like he does immediately go there.
Yeah. That was my first thing last episode. I was like, he's got to be pretty annoyed about that.
He is. He's ready to basically stop Helen. He's like, you know what? You're on your own now, Michelle. You lied to me.
Yeah.
And not only does she convince him to start talking to him again, she gives this little smile when he starts talking. It's like she just she just has to convince him that she's on his side, so she'll help her still. And she just has this little smile when he starts talking to her again. And I'm like, okay, being a little bit, just still playing the games is all I'm saying. She's still doing it. And it's interesting that we get a lot of talk in this episode about how she has tells when she's lying. Ivana kind of can tell when she's lying because of where she's looking. And we even get a flashback, back on the offshore where we see that Ezekiel's actually trying to train her to lie better, and he's calling her out because he's doing these tests with these cards, and she's saying, "Oh, it's not red, it's green or whatever." Which is making me think of Legion now that I'm saying it out loud.
That was the first thing that popped into my head. I was like, "Are they going down? Are they playing some trickery on me?"
But he's like, "No, you're lying," and she's like, "No." He's like, "How do you do that? Like, I'm so good at lying. How are you catching me out?" So no, that stuff was fun to see, and then just the debates when it's both of them, when they've got them separately at first, and then when they put them in the room together and they're just arguing back and forth. Now this is why Raphael's a traitor. This is why you're a traitor, and then they added in stuff where, well, we know that Raphael can only tell the truth because he actually is telling the truth. You can play with things. You've got that's how he phrases it. You've got room to play. You can have fun with this almost. Abilities. Yeah, so. All that stuff was fun, I thought. I was enjoying the back and forth. I can see this being one of the shorter reviews this season because it is all just the one thing. Focused.
Yeah. I do think, though, it's my favourite episode so far.
Oh, no, I agree. I thought it was great.
Yeah. But like I say, it's so focused on, okay, we see them questioning him, and then we see them basically doing the same questions to her and seeing the different responses.
Yeah. And it's interesting that Ivana's right. She always feels that Michelle's the one who's lying, and she just feels convinced by the end of the episode. And it's just, kind of the luck that, the soldiers are coming, and she believes Raphael, so she basically sacrifices herself. She says, hey, shoot me. I took you, I kidnapped you, you shoot me, this convinces them. It looks, all in the up and up, right? And meanwhile, Joanna's actually convinced that Michelle's right. Fernando's already left. Joanna kicked Fernando out earlier on.
But he was leaning towards Michelle anyway.
It was. And it's interesting that she, it was working on everyone except Ivana, who clearly, very, passionate about the cause, cares about the cause. And when she finds out about Eliza, because that's actually the thing, is she's like, hey, Fernando, ask him about Eliza. Get him to explain that. That's the one key thing he's leaving out here, that he's fell in love with someone on the offshore. But it's like, but she believes him and she sacrifices herself. And that's interesting, is that Joanna and Michelle, who sneak out the back, because it turns out the building they're in used to be an orphanage, and it's where Ezekiel grew up, which might sound a bit coincidental, but it makes sense given that he was in the cause, and this is a cause hideout, so it does actually kind of link up well enough.
It might have been a recruiting ground, even.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But he knows there's like a sneaky exit in the room.
And I'm not surprised to hear about, I feel like there was probably a lot of orphanages in this world because,
Yeah.
so many people just kind of get left.
No, it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. And it's funny because I'd forgotten that the general population didn't know that the offshore folk couldn't have kids, because they
Yeah.
bring that up, and like Fernando's like shocked by it. He's like, oh, it makes sense. That's why they need us. They need the kids because it's all part of their philosophy. It's like, oh, should we tell everyone? It's like, oh, no one would believe us. Like,
Yeah. It's why it's a good piece of information to give up because sure they know it, but it doesn't do any harm for them to know essentially because they can't use it.
yeah,
Or at
and of
least it
course,
seems that way at the moment.
Ezekiel keeps saying, hey, tell them a truth. Tell them something that'll get them to believe you because it actually is true. Mix in truths with the lies. And that's kind of typical. It's like the best thing to do when you lie is actually use some of the truth to make it up.
Yeah, stay as close to it as you can.
Yeah, except for the things you have to veer from. And she leans in and whispers something, right? And I'm like, okay, I didn't hear her. And Ezekiel's doing the same. He's like, what did you say? What did you say? Say it loud. And then he's like, rewind the audio. And he's playing it back. And she flat out tells Ezekiel was in the cause. He's someone who switched sides. And like they're all like, what? Ezekiel's punching the mirror. He's like, now you're on your own. In fact, we end the episode where he's like, he's smashing the glass, and it's like all the fractured view of him. And it's like, oh god, damn you, Michelle. He's like so upset. It's great. Him getting angry because do you know what I love about the Michelle thing is that I think right now to the other characters, it's very much you're either the cause or the offshore, and they think one character's one of them, one character's the other. And I feel like Michelle is way more complex than that.
It is, and she actually, she says that when they're using the what for lack of a better term, I'm calling it the scarecrow gas.
Okay, yeah, Scarecrow gas.
She is basically,
Which is the final. Just to mention, this is the final sort of ditch effort. This is the last big thing they use to try and get them to talk.
She does say, I don't know who I am. I don't know what side I'm on, but she's like, I know I hate Ezekiel.
And do you know what the beautiful thing about this is she starts gunning at a speech like, I hate him, I would never work for him, he made me do this, he made me do that, he lied about my brother, he is an awful person, I hate him. And like you see Ezekiel's reaction, I'm like, this is all true. Regardless of which side she's falling down on, all this hatred for him is all true, and he knows it. He knows this is truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just as she's about to give everything up, she's about to confess, she even says the words I confess, or not in that scene specifically, but just when he's about to lose her, she doesn't care anymore. She's going to just give up. That's when audio feed to your brother's room, because obviously she's seen him, but he's never been able to see her. He got a message on a napkin, hence the title of the episode, and he's like, oh, you here? Get me out of here. That's what he writes on the napkin, and so it works really well. But it's like Ezekiel's got that card. He's got that one big card to play to keep her on side.
Yeah,
it's like,
and it works.
It does. It made me laugh when they get outside, when it's Joanna and Michelle outside. Like almost immediately, Joanna's like, "Well, I guess it's time to tell you why you're important to this plan." I'm like, "Oh, she's about to spill all the beans." Oh no!
And it's worth noting that on their way out, they see, Raphael execute Ivana. So it just further convinces Joanna that she was right. That Michelle's the true agent.
Do you know what I love about that? I love that to the soldiers, it looks like he's defended himself, so he's definitely offshore. To Joanna, it looks like he's killed Ivana because he's betrayed. It works on both sides. It's great.
Yeah, it does.
I love it. But in reality, this was a sacrifice to make it look like he still was with them.
Yeah, but now he's got to go through convincing them all over again, and it's going to be even harder now because Ivana was the one who trusted him.
Yeah, and I wonder at what point, though, Michelle actually gives up. Like, she's like, hey, shh, and just sort of like makes it clear Ezekiel's listening. You know?
I think it depends. It'll be, okay, is there a line that she's willing to cross? And it's when that point is raised.
I wonder if much of this is going to come down to some sort of lesson in balance. Like, I can see ultimately Joanna, Michelle, Fernando, if Gloria gets kind of brought into this, or in some capacity, it's going to come down to, well, the cause is too extremist, and the offshore are, leaving 99%, or not, sorry, 97% to use the correct math, to be, poor and, not have medicine and so on. Like, I wonder if it becomes this, no, we're going to be this new thing in the middle.
No, I think that's kind of the point of the show. Like you say, the whole concept of, well, 3% versus 97 is so uneven that it's like, okay, well, there's got to be some sort of balance to come about this.
Yeah.
Because the 3% have everything and the 97 have nothing. It's like, okay, surely there's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, no, all that stuff I thought was great. I love Michelle lying again and trying to convince people, and Raphael as well. Both of them try to convince people of things. Again, it's back to some of the big key sort of themes of season one, except this time she's convincing a completely different set of people.
Yeah. It's a lot more makeshift as well with their
Yeah.
torture.
And I'll tell you what, I tell you that Raphael did himself no favours by cracking the jokes about Joanna's feelings for him. There was that was like immediate, like, okay.
She's their whole, like, essentially just, car battery thing to zap her with. And he's cracking jokes. I'm like, maybe this isn't the right time.
She's threatened to electrocute your testicles. That is the time to shut up and play nice.
It is. Especially when, as far as you're concerned, you're in the right. You're telling the truth.
Yes. You're just antagonising her for no reason.
Yeah. Probably play it safe.
But no, all that stuff was great. I think this was easily the. I mean, I've enjoyed all the episodes up until now. I think they're all presenting really new, fun ideas. I think they're presenting nice spins on the concepts we had in season one. I think that it was building to this though, and this is really like setting things up. Okay, here's how we're doing this now. And now we have a Michelle who's with Joanna and in with the plan, but Ezekiel's in her ear. It's almost like become like, how in some shows we'll have the imaginary like person in the head talking to them. You'll have that. I love that here. It's actually no, it's literal. He is in her head essentially, talking to her, and she's talking to him. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic to play with for as long as we have it. I don't know if that lasts like most of the season, or if it's another episode or two. But
yeah, I can see it just being an episode or two, and then she has to head back. Because at some point the cores are gonna, okay, we trust you. Now we need you to go back in and do something.
Absolutely.
So it's only a matter of time until that.
Yeah, and obviously the continued thing of what side is she really playing? Because even towards the end of the season one, we were like, oh, is she starting to like not be really part of the cause anymore? Yeah. And now this stuff with the brother, it's like, on the one hand, she wants to be offshore so she can get to him, but on the other hand, they did this to him. So, is it like, oh, right, okay, I need to play nice until I can get him out, and then it's like, okay, all cause all the time.
Exactly. It is very conflicting, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, I hope when if she does betray, and unless Ezekiel has some sort of weird transformation where he goes through an arc and he ends up back in the cause side. I mean, who knows? Because he's having disputes with Marcella. They're at each other's throats basically right now. And the other woman who's working there, like she fills Marcella in. She's like, oh hey, something you should know about Michelle.
Yeah, Ezekiel and Michelle.
Yeah.
But we assume it's just that, okay, they've got this going on, but we don't see that yet.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what she tells her, or even how much she knows. I don't think. Like, obviously, she's seeing something. She's getting glimpses of things. She's hearing some things.
But we don't know exactly what. Does she think that maybe she thinks Ezekiel is the cause? Is with them because of this, and obviously, for him, it's like, no, she's undercover. It's on my orders. It's a mission.
Yeah, but is that how they bring Ezekiel down? Is that it now looks like he's working for the cause because he's doing all this stuff with Michelle?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that how Michelle and Co spin it? Like they frame him essentially.
Yeah, maybe
as the ringleader.
It could be interesting.
Potentially. But no. But that's the other thing. When he gets angry at her, like later on when he finally has a chance to talk to her again, and he's like, you told him I was the cause, like, how dare you, or whatever. And she's like, hey, it worked.
Yeah, she's right.
So I like that. I like that they're both playing with what is justifiable for, what justifies, means in the ends, Like,
yeah, I think it's interesting that for Ezekiel it's a very personal line.
Yeah. But he's constantly like pushing her lines and pushing her limits and pushing what she's allowed to do and say, and she's doing the same thing. She's like, no, this is the leap we need to take. This is the risk to take.
Yeah.
And I think what will be interesting though if someone finds out about his family, his kid, in the inland.
Yeah, it will be.
There's definitely elements there. There's still
again, it's another one where that's only a matter of time, right?
Yeah, there's still secrets there to be revealed.
Yeah.
So no, that'll be fascinating. And then you have Raphael, who's back in the offshore army, but wants to work for the cause and wants to stop Michelle. But Like, he can't just run off again. Like, it'll be really suspicious if he just does the same thing.
He can't get kidnapped again, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
super suspicious. So,
Yeah.
essentially, he has to just do his job as a guard, as if that makes any sense, and intervene in some way. Even though, and this is the interesting part, he doesn't know what the plan is, so he's effectively going to try and stop it because he thinks Michelle's behind it, when it's
Yes.
actually what the cause want.
Yeah. That's going to be really fun.
And then he'll look even more like he's betrayed them and went to the offshore. There's a lot of things at play here. There's a lot of dynamics.
He's really screwed, is what we're saying.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the emotional thing where does he come clean to Eliza? How does that play out? So much to go here.
Yeah, there really is.
It's hard to say, but like again, the fun of this episode was the convincing back and forth, the debate, and it reminded me a lot of season 1 stuff.
This really was just, okay, we've got some people in a room talking. Yeah, sure, there was some torture means going on, and as a narrative device.
Yeah,
but
that
it was
just
basically
heightened
talking.
up a bit here or there, but
Yeah,
there was people in a room talking. That's what this show is fantastic at.
it is. It's such well written dialogue.
Yeah, so it worked really well. So that is that's episode 4 of season 2. So we'll be back later in the week with episode 5. You can look forward to that. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. If you want to support the channel and everything we do, head over to patreon.com/MailerFuzzTV. The top post on there has links to all the different audio feeds for all the different stuff we do, as well as all the shows we have on YouTube and everything else. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?